Hey, bud, what'd you think, man? Let me know some things about what can we expect from you?
Fireworks.
Fireworks. You ready, bud?
That's the fight that everybody want to see.
Yeah.
I want to do it.
Do you respect him as like when he's like, I got a couple fights left, I'm at the end, I'm only trying to get mega fights, so...
Terence Crawford has officially accepted Jaron Ennis's offer to fight for all of his super middleweight titles. The announcement caught fans completely off guard, as Crawford had never previously mentioned any interest in facing Ennis. His sudden response has now sparked major excitement and debate across the boxing world.
You know, that's my obligation in the contract, and I gotta honor that. If you know, that's the next move for me and my.
However, in a recent interview while preparing for his next fight, Jaron Ennis revealed that he's ready to move up to the super middleweight division if Terence Crawford grants him a title shot. He even mentioned being open to a 2026 showdown. That move would mirror Crawford's own path, jumping from welterweight to super middleweight after taking on just one opponent at 150 pounds.
Terence Crawford against Jaron Ennis, for me, is the best fight in American boxing. But it needs to be a payday for Crawford that would get him interested, because Crawford knows how good Boots is. And I'm not saying that Crawford thinks he's going to lose to Boots, but he knows that is a real fight. But for me, Boots is the new Crawford.
Interestingly, just hours later, Terence Crawford was celebrating with a victory parade in his hometown of Omaha. During an interview at the event, he was asked about Jaron Ennis and his challenge. Crawford didn't hesitate. He said he's ready and told Ennis to handle business if he truly wants to fight. If it's at 168, send the contract. I'll do it at 168, Crawford said confidently. Eddie Hearn, Ennis's promoter, later confirmed the news, calling it one of the best possible matchups in boxing right now.
You know, without him, you know, really wanting to fight and putting forth the effort into doing what he can do along with me to get this fight done, we wouldn't be fighting. So it's only right that I give him that same, you know,
I want and I need. So after I do my thing, you know, Saturday night and be victorious, you know, I feel like it's only big name fights from here on out. You know, only main event headlines and pay-per-view headlines, pay-per-view fighting. So that's my goal.
Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn revealed that Terence Crawford is in active talks to face former unified welterweight champion Jaron Ennis, who is preparing to make his 154-pound debut against Swiss Mal Limo on October 11th. Crawford versus Ennis is the best fight in American boxing right now, Hearn told reporters on Wednesday. However, he added that Crawford wants the right payoff to truly spark his interest because he knows just how talented Boots Ennis is. I'm not saying Crawford expects to lose to Boots, Hearn continued, but he understands it's a real fight. To me, Boots is the new prophet. We just need to get him the right fights to prove how great he really is.
Whole lot of sense, and the fight that stylistically will be, oh my goodness, is a fight between Terence Crawford and Jaron Boots Ennis.
I don't think I think that's going backwards for Terence.
To that point, Jaron doesn't have the kind of accolades. He doesn't sell to the mass and all these. So this fight was perfect timing for both these guys.
During Crawford's post-fight press conference, the idea of a future matchup with Jaron Ennis was brought up. The 5-division champion had previously said he wouldn't face Ennis because he had no plans to return to the junior middleweight division. For that fight to happen, Ennis would need to agree to another weigh-in with Crawford. The challenge, however, lies in the fact that Crawford is only interested in big money fights, and only a few matchups can bring that kind of payday. According to Eddie Hearn, you're talking about a different animal in Terence Crawford, a fighter with a boxing IQ that's off the charts. To compete with someone like that, you need the right experience and education. That's why I really like the Boots fight.
Coaster, but you know, we made it to the top. No matter how we made it, you know, and you know, it's definitely a test to say that anything is possible if you know, work hard at it and you believe in yourself and you have.
Ennis was once the 147-pound IBF mandatory challenger for Crawford, but moved up to 150 pounds last year. where he defeated Israel Madrimov to claim the World Boxing Association Championship. That victory led the sanctioning body to elevate Ennis from interim to full champion, and he later unified by capturing both the ring and WBA titles with a stoppage win over Justinian in April. As he now trains for his bout with Limo, Ennis also carries valuable experience from having served as Canelo Alvarez's advanced sparring partner during preparations for the Crawford fight.
Don't lie or kept to the net and make it seem like I had the opportunity to fight you and I didn't. I never did. You know what I'm saying? And then that one time that I did, we said they called and we said we never heard nothing else back about it. So I mean, I respect it though. I mean, get your money. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. But don't be capping.
However, Alvarez's intense training camp didn't translate into success, as the Mexican superstar admitted after his loss that his body had failed him. Terence Crawford delivered a masterful performance. "I'm heartbroken for Canelo," Khan stated, "but I'm genuinely glad Crawford is finally getting the opportunity to show how brilliant he truly is. His resume hasn't always reflected that. Don't get me wrong, he's had some great wins, but he could have faced and beaten even more of the era's top fighters. What he's achieved, especially at 38, is simply remarkable."
Fight. Were you surprised by the outcome?
It's boxing, they happy.
No doubt. My other question for you is, with this win, everybody said Crawford elevated his status. He's the GOAT. Do you think this win puts him on Mount Rushmore or makes him a GOAT in boxing?
Everybody got their own opinion.
"We have a tendency to retire fighters after big wins," one analyst noted. "I think it's a fantastic way to go out, but I actually believe Crawford can move down and capture a world title at 160, becoming a 6-division champion." Canelo Alvarez desperately wanted the win, but Terence Crawford had other plans. More than 70,000 fans packed Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, while over 41 million tuned in on Netflix to witness history. In a tight yet decisive contest, Crawford outclassed Alvarez, further solidifying his legacy as one of the greatest fighters of this generation.
South Philly. Yeah. All right, so they'll kill me if I don't ask you, right?
What?
Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford
wins
wins unanimous decision victory.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on the fight?
I was trying to stay up. It was getting too late. It was like, I think by the time they came on, it was probably 1 o'clock or something like that.
It was 1 and some
Jaron Ennis was among the millions watching as Crawford faced Alvarez. The 28-year-old Philadelphian, long vocal about his desire to face Crawford, has often drawn comparisons to future Hall of Famers for his style and dominance. Just weeks before Canelo wrapped up training camp, Ennis was brought in as a sparring partner, a move that drew criticism from fans who accused him of siding with Alvarez over Crawford. But Ennis brushed off the backlash, explaining that sparring with elite fighters like Canelo only sharpens his own craft. "People can say what they want," Ennis said. "I respect both fighters, but at the end of the day, I'm here to learn and get better. When my time comes, Crawford will see me in the ring."
Days and y'all gonna see Canelo fighting Crawford, so I ain't got no comment on who gonna win the fight, you dig? If Crawford do what he's supposed to do, he got an option. If he don't beat Canelo. Simple as that.
When asked about his time training alongside Canelo Alvarez, Jaron Ennis described it as one of the most memorable experiences of his career. It marked only his second time training outside Philadelphia, and for him, it was more than just work. It was an opportunity to grow, just having fun in there with Canelo. Ennis said, "He's got 67 fights, so it was simply wonderful being in the ring with him. I'm glad I had the chance to get away, spar with Canelo, go fishing, and spend time with my brother. It was all part of a great experience." Ennis also noted that his weight has been increasing naturally, and the move offered a change of pace. "I wanted to try something new, and I enjoy it out there," he added. When asked if he'd do it again, Ennis didn't hesitate. Why not? If you get the opportunity to share the ring with a legend, a Hall of Famer, the face of boxing, you take it. The sparring was excellent. I had a wonderful experience. I enjoy being in there with Canelo.
Of that caliber?
Yeah, why not? Why not you be able to share the ring with Canelo, and like I said, being there with a Hall of Famer, legend, and face of, kind of like the face of boxing, why not?
When asked about how his sparring sessions with Canelo Alvarez went viral and how boxing fans reacted, Jaron Ennis admitted he expected the buzz. "I knew it was going to be insane," Ennis said. "Once we posted the photo, I thought, this is going to go everywhere. You could say it just adds to the drama of the fight. Everyone's going to pay a little more attention." But for Ennis, the attention wasn't the point. "I don't really care about the repercussions. I'm not going to lie," he continued. "I went out there for myself, to start my first 2 weeks of camp at Elevation and get better. This was for me, not anyone else."
Think Crawford's gonna get the job done. I am officially picking Crawford to win this fight. It is still 50-50, but obviously
he says that till he goes to Canelo.
I'm obviously gonna say that this is a 60-40 fight, and I have Crawford winning this fight. Crawford's gonna win this fight doing something that nobody's done to Canelo.
Okay.
And it's gonna help Canelo. He's sparring against a great fighter, world champion in Ennis, and like I said
And
before,
maybe it
iron
will.
sharpens iron. And maybe it will. But on the other side, it was interesting to hear your side of how, whether it's the overtraining or I think more the mental side. What if Boots is getting the best of him? How does that affect Canelo going into this fight? Why would you want to even put that doubt in your fighter's head going into...
Teddy Atlas, a legendary boxing analyst, worried that bringing Jaron Ennis into the mix might hurt the Mexican. Atlas felt that facing someone like Ennis would slowly drain Alvarez by September 13th.
Not me.
Yeah.
You know, as much as a lot of people, you know, say we have similarities and, you know, we switch a lot and we fight a lot. He's not me, you know, and I'm not him. So.
Yeah. Tim had said comparison that like he's like a.
Preparations were currently underway on both sides, but all eyes are on Alvarez's camp because of his sparring with Jaron Boots, and Canelo's choice to do so is simply to train with an elite boxer, ensuring he is fully ready to face Crawford. However, not everyone is thrilled with the move.
I think Boots brought the best out of Canelo. I don't know how many rounds they may have sparred, if it's true, but if it is true, I'm assuming that Boots may have brought the best out of Canelo Alvarez in that sparring. Showed him different looks, the switch hitting. I'm pretty sure they probably wanted Boots to, you know, emulate Crawford or just to be who he is.
What's yours?
My opinion is I like who I like. You know, I like Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker.
What do you think?
I'm liking Sugar Ray Leonard. I've been watching a little bit of Sugar Ray Leonard and James Tony. So they my top like guys that I've been watching.
I do not want him leaving it at the gym. I don't want him stepping into that kind of fight during practice. I don't want wars with my guy who has 65 fights. I would have Canelo fight with just a day or two to prep, but only against fighters as sharp as him. Atlas worried about Alvarez's age finally catching up. Crawford is older, yet Canelo has more grip on his tires. Sparring with Anna just adds more rounds to his body. It will be fascinating to see if Alvarez shows any hint of fatigue on fight night.
I would want too many highly, put it this way, I'll get right to the point. I wouldn't want wars with my guy who's been in 65 fights or 60 whatever, and is at that, 34 years.
Never! This is crazy, Chester. Chester, you got a Team Crawford shirt on, hoodie on, but you going against me? You going against me? What'd he say, Red?
I said don't get spilled.
No. What'd he say?
He said you just want to see him lose.
Even with extra support, Alvarez had few answers as Crawford dominated all 12 rounds fighting as a southpaw. While beating Crawford remains his main goal, Ennis couldn't help but praise his effort. Crawford's win was remarkable, as was the match itself. Ennis told YSM Sports Media, "It was a beautiful triumph. He reached a historic goal. He earned a solid win. Though it was thrilling to watch as a fan for a moment, he is now focused on his own career." The former unified welterweight champ recently gave up his WBA and WBC belts, promising to reclaim his crown at 150 pounds. His debut in this new class will be against Wisdom Lima October 11th at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, with a chance to make a statement and claim a secondary belt. He is eager as fight night nears. "I'm feeling great," he said. "It is almost time. I am ready to put on a show." Expect a great performance and a stunning knockout.
When I saw Canelo in the vest, I was like, nah. I was like, no, he's gonna pull it off here. And you know, it was an amazing performance by Terence Crawford. Yeah, I'm gutted for Canelo, but I'm actually pleased that Crawford is getting the opportunity to show how great he is, because his resume hasn't really allowed that.
Terence Bud Crawford was not only honored on the eve of his 38th birthday, but also celebrated. A hometown procession drew an estimated 20,000 supporters, turning city streets into a sea of blue and gold, with Crawford at the center of a spectacle few fighters ever witness. Crawford raised his hand to the roaring crowd while riding atop a semi-truck mounted throne. Amid the shouts and camera flashes, he later posted a short, poignant tweet. Those 6 words became a declaration. His roots, city, and triumphs belonged to something greater than a single fight. Crawford's win over Canelo Alvarez earlier this month in Las Vegas made headlines, but his homecoming elevated everything. Nebraskans lined the streets. Thousands of families attended, and the day felt like a coronation for a returning hero. After all, few boxers in history are crowned undisputed across multiple divisions. Though he stood tall among the cheers, the day carried a sense of finality. Crawford is now 38, and many wonder if the Canelo fight marked the end. In interviews, he suggested the clash was never about money, but legacy. Crawford reflected in a Times interview as critics questioned his choices. It's strange because when I was with Top Rank, everyone said he's broke, he's this, he's that. I was getting paid well, yet I thought I could retire. You box because you want to. I box because I enjoy it.
Following a once-in-a-lifetime fight.
42-0, waving to the crowd, pumping his fists like he does so well.
And a kid on his lap, I love it. Guys, I'm having a hard time hearing you, but it's hard to hear anything because it is loud. The city of Omaha is out. Bud Crawford making his way to the Heartland of America Park.
My opinion is I like who I like. You know, I like Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker.
What do you think?
I'm liking Sugar Ray Leonard. I've been watching a little bit of Sugar Ray Leonard and James Tony. So they my top guys that I've been watching. You know?
Fair enough. Last question on the topic: is that a fight? Because you know people want to know: is that a fight that you still are interested in, or you moved on? You moved on from wanting to fight Crawford. Is this still a fight that you have interest in?
My main focus right now is October 11th. That's all I'm worried about. October 11th. I ain't worried about no outsiders. You know, I like that. That's how.
They'll be talking about Bud Crawford, the boy from Omaha, Nebraska. A century from now, he moved up 2 or 3 divisions and defeated Canelo Alvarez. And I am certain my name will be remembered and spoken long after I am gone. This is the essence of legacy. Crawford's words carry deep personal meaning. The decades ahead will decide if that promise endures. On this day, Omaha seemed to know this was no ordinary victory parade. It was the shaping of identity, memory, and expectation. Crawford's home state had become his megaphone, as had his city co-author. It is clear that Anna struggles to hit the 147 pounds mark, prompting his rise to junior middleweight. To be honest, I'm not sure if Boots will remain at 147, Hearn told the boxing world.
Being so close to the fight too as well, you know, you're kind of like tunnel vision when it comes to your opponent. And the only reason why I ask is because, you know, Turkey had mentioned that if Teo gets past Barboza, we could see a fight with you and Teofimo. I know Top Rank tried to make that fight as well. So I was just curious now, like, what do you think of Teofimo as a fighter?
Yeah, good fighter. You know, good fighter. That's about it.
The Stenone's performance was fantastic. The medical stats weren't as striking, but it's tricky because I think Boots will excel far more at 154. He aimed to stay there to unify, and he achieved that goal. It's a tough call. We favor the Teofimo Lopez fight, but I feel if he remains at 147, he'll face Teofimo Lopez. If not, he'll surely move to 154 with Brian Norman fighting in July in Japan and Barrio facing Pacquiao. The unifications aren't fully lined up. Boots is rare, he explained. I believe he isn't driven by money. Of course he is, but his focus is legacy. and he'll push his body to hit 147 only for unification. The Tafamo conflict is different, yet important. We'll need to decide soon. Andis hired a dietitian to prep for Stennis. On fight night, Andis looked much bigger than Stenini's and easily controlled him. Still, Hearn admitted making weight remained tough. Likely not as brutal as the Kieran Chikagian battle, but many noticed all week how tight he seemed at the scale. He said he wasn't dead on for Stennis. Not at all. Yet it's a huge demand to keep dropping down to 147.
Right, Jaron, just give us your perspective on that and him saying those comments.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't even know what you're talking about. I've been so locked in and zoned in on what I got going on. I ain't been worrying about nobody else doing nothing. Like, I just been going to the gym, training, locking in books and things like that, even coloring a little bit. I'm just so focused on what I got going on. I really ain't been on social media. I post whatever
And it's more than just making the weight a test. Can you make it and perform at your absolute best? I believe he feels that even in the Stennis fight, he wasn't his strongest, most powerful self, which is strange because I thought it was incredible. But this is what you'll see from him at 154. At that weight, you get someone with far more power, even though he has it at 147. And that's all for now. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on the latest boxing news, moments, events, and action. Don't forget to turn on alerts so you're notified when we drop high-quality content like this.